We've run through every single Frey in A Song of Ice and Fire, and we've explored the second Red Wedding theory. Now it's time to ask the ultimate question. In the Winds of Winter, will House Frey collapse into civil war? The Freys of the Crossing are a diverse family of weasels, psychos, thugs, and the occasional good boy, all jostling for space under the wrinkled wing of their patriarch. Lord Walder keeps the peace with an iron fist and a paternal belief that blood is thicker than water. You see, Lord Walder and his kin were rewarded by the crown after the Red Wedding. His second son, Aemon Frey, was granted lordship of Riverrun, his granddaughter Amari was married to the new Lord of Darry, Lancel Lannister, and his grandson Rhaegar was betrothed to the future Lady of White Harbour, Winifred Manderly. That doesn't go well for Rhaegar, but that's another story entirely. But when the patriarch is a gouty old man on the cusp of blindness who's granted land and therefore power bases to offspring who all hate each other, it's not gonna end well. The late lord will eventually kick the bucket, whether he's the victim of natural causes, the hangman's noose, or a surprise second Red Wedding. The first match to light the flame of this civil war will be the most tragic of medieval circumstances, a disputed succession. Who is currently the heir to the twins? Walder Frey's firstborn son is Stevron, who supposedly died from a minor battle injury. His firstborn son is the gluttonous Ryman Frey, who met his maker at the end of an outlaw's rope. Ryman Frey has 3 sons, the sour Edwin, the tempestuous Black Walder, and the pitiful Peter Pimple. Edwin is now the obvious heir to the twins, but he has competition. As the name suggests, Black Walder is a rogue and a villain who takes what he wants. Edwin believes his hateful sibling helped the Brotherhood Without Banners target Ryman to bring Black Walder closer to the lordship. What if Edwin too is assassinated by his brother? Then the heirdom would pass to his young daughter Walder, but rumours persist that Edwin was cucked by Black Walder and the girl is a bastard, which leaves the dark rogue to name himself as Lord of the Twins. But he likely isn't very popular. He's hot-tempered, he sleeps with his own cousins, and he refuses to marry, depriving himself of potential allies. As Lame Lothar once quipped about both Edwin and the Black Walder, fortunately they hate each other even more than they hate us. Lothar Frey is Lord Walder's 12th son, far down the line of succession, yet he wields great power as the cunning steward of the twins, and a key architect of the Red Wedding. Doubtless he wants to cling on to power after his father's death, and he clearly hates Black Walder. A parasite like Lothar needs a host to survive. Peter Pimple would be next in line, but he too was hanged by the Brotherhood. His daughter Pera is also a rumoured bastard, so skipping over her leads us to Stevron Frey's second son, Aegon Jinglebell. He died during the Red Wedding, which takes us over to Stevron's third son. We don't know anything about Walton's personality, because he hasn't appeared in the story yet. However, Black Walder has supposedly sullied his beautiful daughter Fair Walder, so I imagine there's no love lost between them. Let's say Black Walder seizes one castle with his loyalists, while Walton presses his claim within the other castle across the river, dancing to the tune of his ally, Lame Lothar. Thus, the civil war begins. But that's just the twins. Riverrun was granted to Aemon Frey and Jenna Lannister, the heads of the Frey Lannister branch. Aemon wants to be a firm, fair, and just overlord of the Riverlands. Of course, Jaime Lannister has to spoil his delusions by reminding him that Littlefinger is the official Lord Paramount of the Trident. Still, the man may have ambitions. With a castle, an army, loyal vassal houses, and Lannister support, Aemon could reject both Black Walder and Walton's claims, and push for himself as the rightful Lord of the Twins. But that's not all. His grandchildren have Darry blood, and this could expand the conflict. You see, the House of Darry ruled over Castle Darry for thousands of years, but the male line has recently gone extinct. There are 2 female members left in the main branch, Maria and her younger sister, Jane. Aemon and Jenna's firstborn son, Cleos Frey, married Jane Darry and sired 2 sons, Tywin and Willem. Cleos was slain by bandits, so Tywin is the young heir to Riverrun. Jane Darry wants her second son Willem to claim the lordship of Darry lands. If Aemon and Jenna strike, they and their kin could rule over Riverrun, the twins, and Castle Darry all at once, and this accumulation of power could prove enough to supplant Littlefinger's overlordship of the Trident. The Lannisters certainly have reason to support Aemon's claim to Darry. After the Battle of the Blackwater, King Joffrey made Lancel Lannister the new Lord of Darry. To cement his position, he married Amari Frey, the firstborn daughter of Meryd Frey and Maria Darry, Jane Darry's older sister. Thus was born House Lannister of Darry. But Lancel refused to consummate this marriage, embraced nofap, and joined the Warriors' Sons. Thus, the Lannisters' next move might be to install Aemon and Jenna's grandson Willem as the next Lord of Darry. But Amy and her family might not like this. They belong to the Craighall branch of House Frey, the descendants of Lord Walder and his third wife, and are currently occupying Castle Darry. The known occupants are Amy, Marissa, Danwell, and Arwood Frey. When Lancel abandons his wife and dissolves the marriage, Amy cries while her close kin look pissed off. This is the second time a Frey marriage has been betrayed. They will not be happy losing their new castle to some Frey Lannister whelp. With Amy's brother Little Walder dead in Winterfell, she has the best claim to Darry of all of the Crakehall Freys. And as the eldest daughter of the eldest Darry daughter, she may have the greatest claim out of all of the Freys. Mayhap she'll claim the land in her own right, standing in the way of Aemond's branch. There may even be a fifth faction in this civil war, so we must turn our eyes to Castle Rosby in the Crownlands. The childless, heirless Lord Giles Rosby has an unnamed young ward. This could be Olyvar Frey. He's the fourth son of Walder Frey and his sixth wife, Bethany Rosby. He does have older brothers, but Perwyn is probably too old to be a ward, Benfrey is dead, and Williman is a maester. Furthermore, Olyvar was Robb Stark's squire and was not invited to the Red Wedding, so his wardship may be a form of exile from the twins. With Giles Rosby dead and Cersei Lannister losing political power, it's possible that Olyvar names himself Lord of Rosby. He will likely invite his brother Perwyn to join him and his sister Roslyn, if she's rescued, that is. You see, Roslyn married Edmure Tully during the Red Wedding and is bearing his unborn child. The couple are to be sent to Casterly Rock, but if they're freed, they could find refuge at Castle Rosby, with plans to take back Riverrun. Now, Olyvar may not be the Rosby heir. The heir is described as being ill-born, which implies he's a bastard, but this could just be an insult towards Walder Frey. He's also described as not being of Rosby blood, and Olyvar is half Rosby, but maybe this just means he's not a Rosby through the male line. Regardless, if he's not at Rosby, then Olyvar could still be in pseudo-exile at Darry. After all, Amy is described as having a half-uncle with her. So, Black Walder wants to be Lord of the Twins, as does Walton Frey and his ally Lothar. Aemond Frey holds Riverrun and may also want to be Lord of the Twins, or at the very least, wants his grandson Willem to become Lord of Darry. Amy and the Crakehall Freys, however, hold Castle Darry and have reason to hate the Lannisters. And finally, Olyvar may hold Rosby, or at the very least, may be in exile at Castle Darry and wants to help his sister become Lady of Riverrun. But as with all good civil wars, some factions require outside support. Black Walder is unlikely to get much help, and while the Lannister army is a force to be reckoned with, this dynasty's political power is crumbling in King's Landing due to Cersei's incompetence, so it's time to introduce the Vale. As its Lord Protector, Littlefinger is slowly gaining power over the various factions of the Vale, including the powerful House Waynwood. Walton Frey's mother was a Waynwood, and his wife is Deanna Harding, House Harding of course being vassals of the Waynwoods. Meanwhile, one of the Crakehall Freys, the late Jeremy, was married to Caroline Waynwood. Their son Sandor is a squire to Sir Donal Waynwood, and their daughter Cynthia is a ward of Lady Anya Waynwood. How many times am I going to say Waynwood? Anyway, this means that Lady Anya, her house, and one of her vassals are linked to two major Frey factions, Walton's branch and the Crakehall branch. Seeing as we haven't met Walton Frey or his sons yet, it could be possible that they're residing in the Vale, and might specifically petition the Lord Paramount to help them claim the twins. So what motivation does Littlefinger himself have for launching an invasion of the Riverlands with House Waynwood to aid these factions? For one, his power over the Trident comes from a mere scrap of paper. He doesn't even live at Harrenhal. If an invasion is launched, Littlefinger gets to assert control over a second kingdom, Sansa gets to restore Tully overlordship, Anya Waynwood gets to push her relatives into positions of power, and it's all under the guise of Sweet Robin reinstating his uncle Edmure as Lord of Riverrun in the face of a collapsing crown authority. Or, if Sweet Robin dies of natural causes, I almost said that with a straight face, then Sansa will marry the new Lord Paramount Harold Harding, reveal her true Stark self, and push him to launch the invasion on behalf of his wife and his Waynwood allies. So what happens next? The armies of the Vale, so far untouched by battle, slice through the war-torn Riverlands like a hot knife through butter. Black Walder will have few allies as he finds himself besieged by Walton Frey and the Waynwood army, who will either starve him out or storm the castle. To save his own skin, Lothar might pin the Red Wedding on Black Walder to give Sansa Stark a sense of justice. Lord Walton takes over the twins, with his club-footed half-uncle serving as the loyal steward. Meanwhile, the rest of the Vale armies help the Crakehall Freys and the Rosby Freys fight against any Lannister forces loyal to Aemond. We know that Riverrun is well stocked with supplies, so storming the castle is more likely than a siege. To secure Edmure Tully's position, Aemond and his grandchildren may have to be put to the sword. Walton Frey will become Lord of the Twins, Edmure Tully will become once more Lord of Riverrun, Gatehouse Amy will be Lady of Darry, and perhaps Peter Baelish will truly cement himself as Lord Paramount of the Trident. The future beyond this, however, is murky. Will the United Riverlands support the invading Young Griff in the south against the Lannisters? Will they side with Stannis Baratheon up north? Will Baelish push for Sansa Stark to be queen in the north? Will the Riverlanders even follow the whims of Baelish, or will Edmure Tully cement himself as Lord Paramount of the Trident once again? Probably not if Baelish is hoarding all of the grain in the Vale, but shh, don't tell anyone. One thing is for certain. This family rose on the toxic winds of greed and betrayal, and they are unlikely to abandon that which gave them power, even if it heralds their downfall. Starving rats will tear each other apart for a scrap of bloody meat, should we expect any less from the House of Frey. This video was inspired by Preston Jacobs' Frey Civil War video, and my collab with Quinna GM on his channel last year. Links are in the description below. If you want to learn about the second Red Wedding theory, check out this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out the Patreon and merchandise links in the description to support the channel, and let me know your thoughts on the Frey Civil War in the comments. Special thanks to my patrons, in particular Alex the Pagan, Caden, Colshot, Devcole, Jack, Itchaboi, and Morphy. See you next time.